Okay, roll call. District 1, Mr. Gene Malbrough.
Here.
District 2, Ms. Joy Daigle.
Here.
District 3, Mr. Gary Duplechamp.
Here.
District 4, Mr. Dale Wembley.
Here.
District 5, Mr. Darrell Como.
Here.
Police Chief, Mr. Albert Venable.
Here.
Town Attorney, Mr. Brad Andrus.
Here.
Town Clerk, Mr. Todd Richard.
Here.
Okay, first thing we have is recognition of special guests. Tonight we have with us Mr. Josh Gilroy, candidate for U.S. House of Representatives, 3rd Congressional District. Mr. Gilroy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Again, Mr. Mayor, board members, chief, my neighbors here in Church Point. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for giving me this time to introduce myself, but also to answer any questions that you have. Again, my name is Josh Gilroy. I'm running for Congress out of the 3rd Congressional District, and I'm running for many reasons. One of which is I know that our district deserves Washington leadership, not a lightning rod. We have too many lightning rods up there. I can do without it. We deserve someone to represent us in Washington that lives in our district. We deserve someone to represent us that knows what our best interests are, because they see it every day, just like you. I live right down the road in Lafayette. Live there with my wife and children. I'm a small business owner, family law attorney. I also practice constitutional law. But in the afternoon, in the summer, in the fall time, you'll see me doing what I love to do best, which is coach middle school football. So, and I love it. I always say I'm a football coach that practices. It rolls off the tongue a lot quicker when you introduce yourself. But I also am very proud to have served in the Army. I was in Iraq in 2005 as a cavalry officer, and I'm sure we have other veterans in the room. And I know I can speak for myself when I say wearing the uniform of our country, without a shadow of a doubt, was the single greatest honor of my life. And I felt compelled to volunteer, and I feel compelled to run for this office. I look at Washington just like everybody here. I see the news. I see the chaos. Just like you, I get frustrated. I'm frustrated that we have an environment up there where everybody's dug in on their positions and there's an inability to create a solution. Because I believe at the end of the day, our congressman should be focused on one thing. Just like every board member up here, the mayor, and that's create solutions. Not just sound bites. We have enough of those too. So, as our next congressman, my priorities are very straightforward. Balance the budget. These ladies and gentlemen have to balance a budget. Everybody in this room has to balance a budget when we go home. Balance the federal budget. There's no excuse. Many models, pick one, move on. Secure funding for key infrastructure projects. Drainage is an issue. It's a very, very big and real issue that hits all of us. Water has no political party. Neither does gravity. And we need to figure out how we manage both of those. But we can do it. We can do it. Protect our coast. Lessen needless regulations. Lessen needless regulations that strangle our business sector. All of these board members and the mayor work very hard to create jobs. That's the big thing. Well, you need a partner up there in Washington that gets out of your way and empowers you, as opposed to thinking they can regulate everything from a cubicle in Washington, D.C. You know your citizens in Church Point better than any politician in Washington. So I'm open ears, open arms, and I'm eager to work with you. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Let's make it more than a phrase. I know y'all work hard to do that. I want to work with you to do that. So I appreciate it. Look, I know that we can do better. I know that we can do better, and I want to do better. So I ask for your vote. I ask for your support. I ask for your advice and concerns and prayers. And I thank you so much for giving me time tonight. I know y'all are very busy, and I could speak for hours. So after any questions from the alderman and mayor, if you have a question, please meet me outside. I don't want to interrupt their meeting, but I will stay here till y'all kick me out, because I do care. So thank you so much, and I ask that God continue to bless everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilroy, and good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Our next item is reading and approval of the previous minutes, November the 6th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve. minutes of November 2017.
I'll second.
Is there any questions or more discussion? Any questions or more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Get a second?
Yes, we have a second. We got a second.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Our next item is approval of the October 2017 financial statement. Do I have a motion to approve the financial statement?
Well, but I can, I don't see the discrepancy. Some of the version that we approved it financially.
This is different than what we got last. Cause last month we were approving the end of year. So this is just the monthly. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, okay. Good deal.
Darryl, you,
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion or more comments? Any discussion or more comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Our next item, no old business, we don't have any old business. New business, engineering report. There's no action as far as the engineering report. We'll move to number 2, municipal department reports. Ward Officer, Mr. Dale Thibodeau.
Sorry I wasn't here last month. I was at an active shooter retraining up for a week in San Marcos, Texas. What we did for the month of November is 22 bench warrants have been resolved. Collected $5,564.50 in money that was recovered from these bench warrants. 2 bench warrants were recalled, which totaled $480 besides the $5,000. One was incarcerated with a high fine of $1,545. He's still doing time. I don't think we'll get the 15. 6 drug cases were completed. 10 undercover cases are currently in process, and the rest will be coming to that soon. 10 citations were issued. That active shooter class I went to was another recertification, which will be putting on some more classes for the public. The church shooting that happened was 30 miles from where I was from, so pretty close. And we learned a lot at this conference. We had over 2,500 officers from all over the country, so it was a very informative conference, not only with the certifications. We're going to be putting on a lot more training for the police department. In fact, we got one set up Thursday for the dispatchers. We're going to train them on how to handle if somebody calls in an active shooter, because it's a whole different protocol than what we used to now. So we're going to start the training again Thursday to get that done. Any questions?
Mr. Thibodeau,
Yes, sir.
here in your report, you indicated no search warrants done due to the fact do not have enough resources to execute the search warrants.
Correct.
Can you explain that, sir?
Yes, sir. Right now, with the folks are strapped and without being able to pay overtime, I have very few officers. It's a handful that will volunteer to come out and help me. And I cannot do a search warrant with a handful. I have tried to call the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Office for assistance, and I have been told to send a search warrant to them. They were going to do it, and when it was done, then they would call us. But I am working on other means with other departments to see what it would take to get extra help whenever I need it, without having to deplete the resources in our department.
Okay.
Any more questions?
And the citations, you
Yes, sir.
issued 10 citations were issued.
That was me only. It's not nobody else. That's just me.
Right, I appreciate that. I was more interested in knowing for what reasons were the citations issued. Were those all drug related?
No.
Or
I go, when I do citations, I usually go out and work the school zone. I'll work in the school zone, or if somebody has come to City Hall and complained about speeders in their area, I try, when I don't have nothing going on, which is very seldom, I try to get up in that area and run speeds or whatever. Lately I've been trying to do quite a few of the loud music, where the windows rattle in the windows on the houses. I've been writing quite a few of those, and the school zones, that's mainly what I've been hitting lately. But like I said, I've been I was out for a whole week with class, and then since I've been back, we had Thanksgiving and all of this, so my time has been kind of limited this month. I'm sure next month will be the same.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dale. Okay. Our next item, under legal reports, building code inspection reports, Mr. Rodney Rishaw.
Mayor, I think we have
No.
police matters.
Sorry, I'm
ordinance.
sorry.
Yeah, the ordinance.
Police matters, ordinance, curfew for minors, Mr. Como.
Yes, I brought that up. I had people calling me, senior citizens, the elderly people, they prefer not to have their names mentioned. In the wee hours of the morning, they have, they think it is minors, that they're knocking on their doors in the wee hours of the morning, and they called me up. I said, well, whatever you do, do not open your door, call the police, and I don't know how many calls the chief and them got, maybe, but they are afraid, they don't want their names out there mentioned, because they're afraid something might happen to them, you know?
God bless them. God bless them.
And same thing like, then this morning, the reality in the morning, they trashed my house again for about the 6th time this year, so they threw trash all over my yard and so on and so forth, and I don't know what's going on, and I know we have a curfew ordinance, but, Chief, can you maybe elaborate and let us know what's going on?
The curfew is at 9 o'clock during the week to 5:30, and that's on a nightly deal, and on weekends from 11 to 5:30 in the morning, and we actually the cooperation of parents to kind of come back to like we used to say, know where your kids are and what they're doing, you know. Because a lot of them kids, they're roaming, they pick them up, they bring them to the office, and what we have to do is just release them back to the parents. But it's, you know, we have actually the cooperation of the parents. You know, and I know a lot of parents have problems with their kids because we hear about it. You know, they come in, they have juveniles that they really can't handle. It's real sad. They do have them. And anyone that would have any problem, they happen to see anything, give us a call. I know when you call the office, they ask you for your name and address and everything, which is we have to report each month. We have to make a report to the state how many calls you had and all that. That's the reason for it. It's not to be put on the newspaper or anything like that. And it's just everyone working together. I think we could stop this. And coming back to Dale's deal, him and I, we've been working on possibly fixing some kind of way where we can work, get the narcotics, you know. The burglars and everything, I contributed to the drugs. It's the drug activity that's causing the burglars. I know we have a speeding problem. We've got different things to work on. But I think if we can concentrate on the drugs in our community, we'll solve a lot of our problems. That's why they break into cars. We had a rash of vehicle burglars break into cars looking for change. And it's to buy drugs. And you know, I don't know if I could maybe mention, but heroin is coming in our community. And Dale can maybe talk on this here. This is bad stuff. It's getting to where the crack cocaine and all that, that's like marijuana years ago.
Yeah.
They get the stronger stuff, and which is deadly. The what is it? Yeah, it's coming in our community, and these are kids. You know, it's not like it's in our area where other kids are using. And it's something else. But I think if we can concentrate on getting rid of our drugs, we won't get rid of, but curb it as much as possible. We're going to eliminate all these problems. And and we need everybody's help on that. And maybe you can give more information on the drug scene.
On the fentanyl if everybody's been watching TV, you notice it's a nationwide epidemic right now. A grain of fentanyl, which is like you just gotta inhale it from a distance. If Chief was to open the pack and the wind happened to blow a grain of fentanyl, I can OD in a minute. That's why all of the departments are equipping their officers with naloxone, where you can give you when you inhale this and you OD, and you can give yourself an injection to keep you from dying. Right now, that's mixed with heroin. They're starting to mix it with, you know how everybody says, ain't nothing wrong with marijuana? Well, guess what? They're starting to mix it with the marijuana and everything. Crack, coke, I mean, don't get me wrong, we had a problem, but it is nothing compared to what you're facing now with the heroin, the fentanyl, and the marijuana that's being laced with fentanyl. And like I said, it's just a matter of opening it and let the dust particles come up. It will kill you like that.
How I was going to ask how relevant, that's an inappropriate way to ask the question. How relative is it right now to our community? Are we where it is, you're noticing it is entering our community, or it has an established sort of,
It's
you know,
Lafayette and Caron
recreational?
knocking on our door, and Opelousas is, I mean, we all know that it's closed, because most of our drugs come from Lafayette and other places like that. It's close. I haven't personally ran across it yet, thank God, because we're not equipped for it. I'm gonna be honest with you. We have no naloxone. I have no respirator. I have nothing. So thank God I haven't ran across it yet, but it's like right there, and we're gonna have people close by that's gonna start dying from this.
So if it's quote unquote knocking on our doors, as you indicated, what's your plan of action to protect the community?
My plan of action is like it is every day. I get out on the street and I stop as many cars as I can. I gather as much information and I make as many dope arrests as I can. I'm the only one. That's it.
No resources.
Yeah, and that's a good point. The resources. My primary concern is, and the chief was very correct in that most of the crime issues we have right now, it relates to burglary. And what we know is that people that are having issues with drug abuse, they burglarize to get money for the drugs. And I think it's going to get worse. I also feel that it's a twofold problem. So if law enforcement, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing by stopping them and trying to intervene there, and if they're arrested and they get before the magistrate, is there something that can be?
The drug cases
don't go before?
No, that's
oh, I
cases.
see. Okay.
Now, but
Therein lies a problem.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. They're going to the jail system, the state system, okay? Which, if you're paying attention to the TV, they're cutting them back on the jail system, so they're letting a whole bunch of people.
Well, it's a nonviolent crime.
Drug is
it's a nonviolent crime, right? Well, it's a nonviolent crime, but that doesn't mean there are no victims.
Exactly.
Okay, so clearly there are victims, and unfortunately, and this is just my personal opinion, unfortunately, a lot of members of our own community that are challenged with substance abuse, be it drugs, alcohol, or whatever, they do end up in the penal system versus treatment system. And that's why I was asking if there was some way that we could sort of intervene because when they get in the penal system, they're going to come back into our community. But what happens if they come back into our community? And I'm saying they as if they're strangers. They're members of our community. So when members of our community comes back from the penal system, what can we offer? I mean, do we have treatment facilities that we can order them to? And Brad, I mean, any thoughts on that?
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
We don't have access to it, Jim. When a parent, a mom and dad comes to me at the office.
Yes, sir.
And we need your help.
Yes, sir.
It's past bad. Because naturally everyone wants to keep their little problems in their home.
Sure.
But when they seek assistance from somewhere else, there's a major problem in their household. And it's to get a point where guess what? They don't know what to do.
And you know what? It's not really the problem. I mean, yeah, the problem, it's all over. But the problem is, it's not the users that's the problem. It's the dealers that's the problem. but the dealers are getting arrested, the dealers are getting put in jail, and the dealers are going up and they're pleading to rehab. Now, a dealer, a smart dealer, will not use his product, because if he uses his product, he gets hooked, and then he's back to being a junk. But they know how to play the system. So when a dealer gets busted, he goes to court, they make him a deal, there's no room in jail, they make him a deal to go to rehab. He goes to rehab, he didn't need rehab to begin with because he's not using it. He comes out and he's back to dealing. That's what I have been doing lately. I have been concentrating on the dealers. And I don't care if, you know, I'm not gonna say I don't care. If I arrest you and you're a user, well, you just got arrested. But I'm mainly trying to concentrate on the dealers. But it takes manpower.
Sure.
It
Resources.
takes a lot of resources that
yeah.
we're only limited
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. I do, Mr. Thibodeau, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I do applaud what you're doing and certainly focusing on the dealers, the sellers, because they definitely are a problem in our community and many other communities. But I'm also equally concerned about the users, because to my fellow councilman, Mr. Como, chances are those people that have been sort of harassing him, those aren't the dealers.
No.
Those are the users. Folks that are being, their cars and homes being robbed, those aren't dealers doing that.
As long as you have the demand, you're gonna have the sale.
Absolutely, absolutely, that's correct. So anyway, so I say all that to say I wish there was some way, Chief, that maybe because we know they're, as you say, knocking on our doors, maybe if there was some way we could establish some community-wide something to start at least researching what we can do. Maybe look at what other communities have done to just block that from entering our community. Because again, to your very point, once it hits, it really is going to be a problem, especially some of the stuff that's out there now, that synthetic stuff.
The Chief and I spoke. Okay, we spoke last Friday. We sat down and we spoke. We come up. It worked a while back, and then with the short-handedness and stuff, it kind of got on the back burner.
Right.
We're gonna try to start up the criminal enforcement community, where we have one guy. You got 3 men on a night shift. Okay. And it don't take 3 men to go handle a dog call. It don't take 3 men to go handle, little call.
Right.
Now, we're gonna take that 3rd man, we're gonna put him working traffic. Like, let's say we got an area of town, let's just use Leone Street. Let's say Leone Street is, we got a lot of drug sales and bad stuff going on Leone. That man's that's gonna be one of the spots he's gonna hit hard, okay? So he's not gonna handle the pity calls, the bull calls and all that. You still got 2 people to handle. Now, whenever one man is off and they just 2, he's gonna go back to normal patrol. But we're gonna try that on the 2 night shifts and see if that can't help me out a little bit. Because most of the time when I get home 7, 8 o'clock at night, my phone's going off, hey, they're dealing dope in front of my house.
Yeah.
I've done worked all day, I'm tired.
Yeah.
So we're trying something. I'll let y'all know how it goes at the next council meeting.
Yeah.
But we do have something, me and the chief, in the works, and I think it works.
Good deal.
We
Good deal.
kind of, excuse me, we kind of got off track.
Yeah.
We were talking about minors and curfew.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We
Yeah,
got into
yeah.
the
We were
drug
talking about the
dealing
drugs. Yeah,
stuff.
sorry about that.
But minors on the streets, late at night.
We all over the morning.
Yeah, is where it all got
Anybody
started.
really, but they do it out on the.
Question to the chief. You were saying that when you picked up minors, when the officer would pick up minors, you bring them to the police station and you would turn them over to their parents.
Right.
Are you ticketing their parents for not supervising their kids?
There's some of which are, but,
whenever, and I'm not saying this to be rude, but you people in here, all good people. You raise your kids, you've seen about your kids. If your kids caused you to spend money for no good reason, for a ticket or something, you would really get on them.
Yeah.
Okay? That would change.
no.
We have charged a few, they have come in front of our magistrate, and our magistrate has charged them and slapped the fine on them.
Good. We need to do that more often.
Yeah, 'cause the parents, they have to be accountable for their kids.
Enforce the legislation in hand.
Right. I mean,
Basically what you're saying.
yeah.
which that crime prevention unit's gonna do the same thing. He'll be rolling the streets in the targeted areas, so he'll be able to contact you know, it's gonna it's not gonna just be one thing, it's gonna help out doing a lot of things.
The reason why I say that is because maybe as a teacher, I get that all the time when I call a parent. I call a parent and they say, Mr. Wimberly, I can't do nothing with him. Well, look, that's your child. See about doing something with him. Get help if you can. Get an uncle, get, you know, somebody else to help you out.
But what I'm saying is, you know, I was raised, my dad was pretty strict. When you gotta start bending when they're small, not when they're 16, 17.
Right.
So you gotta start young, you know, and put them in the right direction.
It's a
It's not like Ron said. But what we do is,
This in my neighborhood alone.
Okay.
Back on the topic of the curfew, what are we supposed to do about it?
I'm gonna stress to the officers to keep, you know, checking out, and hopefully we can get it with, potentially with Dale, we can focus on the kids driving.
I'm trying to also switch my, which is hard, but I'm trying to also switch my schedule to where some weeks I can come in the evenings also and kind of work a little bit of the nights. But what happens with that is I get home the next morning, my phone's going off at 8 o'clock, you know, me in the office.
Was that something?
Some people want to talk to you right now.
He wanted out.
Okay, any more comments? Okay. Let's move on to the next one, legal reports, building code inspection report. Mr. Roger Michaud.
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, to keep this from being a real lengthy meeting, I have some citizens up here. But I would like to start off with Brad explaining the ordinances and the penalties, because there's some of these recommendations that I'm gonna have tonight. They've done had 2 or 3 warnings and nothing has been done about it yet. So we're gonna have to get this turned over to the city attorney and the magistrate to get them to the system to start finding them to get their attention. But I'm gonna hit the nail on the head here in a few minutes. So, Brad, did you have a chance to review that ordinance on the penalties?
A little bit, Mr. Cooney. Basically, if you are in violation of ordinance number 20617, is the public nuisance ordinance, you can be ticketed for it. Must appear before me. It's a misdemeanor, $200 fine per day. If I see fit to do that. And of course, you can amass your defense to it and not hear anything you want to say, but could equate to a fine of $200 per day. You can be fined again and again and again until it's fixed. That's it.
So, the question that I'm gonna get with Brad, the citation that to get them on a date on your calendar, what will that process be?
A police officer write the ticket and
Okay.
putting the court date on the bottom.
Okay. I know your cup is really loaded and we spoke about that, so that's where I'll get with the chief and when the time
You
comes.
gonna write it, Mr. Cooney?
Sorry?
You gonna write the ticket?
Oh, well, I'm gonna ask him to write it, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna initial it, okay? But I think that process has to come to a head. I really do. Otherwise, we're just gonna be spinning our wheels and sending out registered letters for eternity. So, okay, I'm gonna start off with 111 North Main. The owner, he has the flu tonight. If you remember, He's the one that told us he would have this thing tore down by Mardi Gras, and that's 111 Main Street. He hasn't flew tonight, but he assured us it will be done by the end of the holidays. So, again, if that's not done by Mardi Gras, we're gonna write him a citation, because that's a big building to be addressing, and he, if you remember the conversation, he said he wanted to wait until the weather was cool to start the work. Well, as of now, there's nothing started at all, and that's a big project to start tearing down in a couple of months. So, just wanna say that for what it's worth. I got my graph. My next one on the list is 126 Main. I'm not sure whether they are here tonight. Is anybody from 126 Main? That's right down the road here on the left.
They never replied.
Never replied
It's the second
to
time.
our certified letters to come in front of the council to address what they're gonna do with it. Brad, I don't know if you have any suggestions on how to serve these people.
There's no need to serve them. The attempt to serve them is all you need. The attempt to write them is all you need. The council can proceed with tearing it down at this point if we have the money, which I know we don't. Well, maybe I shouldn't speak for the town. If you're tearing it down, we file a tax lien against the property. Not tax lien, a lien against the property, I'm sorry.
I know, I think I overheard in maybe a couple of meetings back that she was trying to get rid of the property. She was trying to sell it. You know, I don't know where to come up and get done.
Where's that property located?
Right down the road on the left.
Right there, body shop again.
Oh, yeah.
Across
the street from It's a historic landmark.
Yeah. Old place, no, old place, that's old place.
Yeah, it's right next to it.
Both of them, right.
Got like 3 of them together.
Right back the whole, right back.
No.
Right, all the citizens, right.
Oh, yeah. I know that.
126, 122.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, you know, I want to move with this, and I know the city wants to move with it, or they wouldn't be bothering me about it as they are. So, how do we get it legally where we have access to tear it down?
One is file the letter you sent to them.
File that courthouse?
Yes, sir.
Is what you mean?
Gotta be filed. The certified mail, copy of everything.
So, Cooney, in this package you have 126, 122, and 223.
Yeah, that's what's on the doors. That's, I don't know how I got that.
All connected, right?
All connected,
Yeah.
yes, sir. And as you see the pictures, you know, and I'll use the next one as an example that's coming up. Can it be fixed? Depending on how much money you want to spend. You know, I don't know the sentimental value of the building or the historic value of it. You know, that's something that this lady is going to have to decide or tear it down. But what you're telling me now, I think we can get the legal right to start getting bids.
Oh, I know
and
you
see what it's
can.
gonna cost to
Yeah,
tear it down.
absolutely, you can.
Those are, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Reach. I
My
had a question.
past history dealing with these old buildings, just like the one that I seen on the next one here on 146, it's unbelievable the amount of cypress and old longleaf pine that's in these buildings. There is some companies I know out of Washington down the road here, they'll tear these buildings down for the material because they're so valuable for cabinet shops and stuff like that. So it's not, maybe the city won't have to pay as much as you think you would to get some of these old buildings tore down. It's just to get the approval, to get somebody over here to look at them and get the right to do it. That's where we're gonna need your help.
Okay.
Mr. Richard, these are 3 separate buildings?
3 separate addresses, but they're
3
all
separate
groups,
addresses.
all tied together.
And is it just one building?
Well, it's 3 separate addresses for some reason.
Three buildings together.
3 buildings connected, joined together.
Right. According to what I'm looking at right here, there's definitely a fire hazard.
Oh, they're
At
gone.
any given time, there's a piece of the building on the spot.
You want me to go to
painted trouble.
And you can see there's got a couple of meters, although they're probably not hot, as we call them. But, And those, they have power to that meter base by the utility company. So it's just a matter of getting shorted out, you know, like I've seen a restaurant here in town, where a rat got up there and bit through the main wire. And
I have a question. This is actually to the council. Because I'm not sure how we would handle this, because I think we may end up running into this problem. Because we're talking about old buildings. Chances are these old buildings have gone unmanaged, and the owners have respectively gotten older. And we're addressing the current state of their building, whereas that individual might not have the resources to even tear it down.
more than likely they don't.
Yeah,
Right. So, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'll be transparent for the record. The owner, well, not the owner. The owner's father is one of my constituents, so I feel compelled to at least advocate a little bit on their behalf. If we're saying we gave them notice, and I understand that, but if we're still at the end of the day dealing with an owner who just can't afford to comply with what we want them to do, and then if we come back and say, okay, well, we're gonna slap a lien and we'll take care of it. I don't know if I could sleep well at night with that just the way that is. I mean, we're a small community and we should be about kind of like stretching it and helping each other if at all possible. Certainly if it's a situation where the owner is saying, I want to comply, I just don't have the money to do it. And I'm asking the council if there's something we could consider, and not just for this individual. As I said, that the father of the owner is one of my constituents. I'm saying this for anyone throughout our entire community that might face that challenge. I don't know. Do we want to do that?
I understand what you're saying, Gene.
Right.
I do, and because I can see that definitely happen. But I also see that, like I said, at any given time, and just this particular one, and there's all the others as well. You can go down Main Street and see a piece of the building on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
The building is actually falling apart.
Yes.
Weather conditions.
Yes.
Someone get
Yes.
hurt by
Yes.
this.
Yes, I agree.
And then now
Yes.
where we at?
Yes, yes. Definitely, no, I agree. Absolutely, I agree. Definitely an eyesore.
Especially on
Okay,
Main Street.
definitely an
It's not
eyesore.
like it's a neighborhood.
Right. Absolutely. I just feel it needs. I agree with my fellow councilwoman. I do. And if we've served the owner, then then if the law has to apply, the law certainly has to apply. I just want to ensure that we give members of our community every opportunity when necessary to try and at least work with them.
But
That's just my opinion.
As a reminder, we've contacted her twice.
Yeah.
And she's never come
Not even
forward.
called or.
So if she was to say, well, I have a hardship, she's never.
Okay, so that was never communicated. Say, hey, you guys, can you work with me
No,
or something?
Gene, here's the thing. What I'm getting at is this: we've sent her 2 registered letters.
Right, I know that. Yeah.
And when she never even come to say forward to y'all, I'm having a hardship.
Yeah.
She just never answered.
Yeah.
When you had other ones who came here,
Yeah.
and our very first one who
Yeah.
did comply,
Yeah.
who told me I'm having a hard time,
Yeah.
and y'all granted them time.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, we see
And
you having a
maybe
hard
she
time, but we're
would need
giving
to
you
know
time.
No, that's a
about-
good point. That's a
So
good
she
point.
never even asked.
Yeah, no, your point is respectfully received. Yeah, I that's a good point.
No call, she was trying to get rid of it. She was trying to get rid of it.
Well, maybe she doesn't know about these places who would consider coming and tearing them down, for the profit. Maybe
And maybe we can
share that
offer that
information
too.
to
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
if she would communicate with her, I'm
Right.
more than happy to give her some names of people that
Right.
tear buildings down for this wood.
Right.
And that's something, and to your point, Gene, we're offering dialect.
Sure.
But
I agree.
if we can't have dialect with someone, I'm not talking bad on her, she just never had dialect with us, or with Mr. Rishaw.
My recommendation, so we can move on, if the councilman is okay with my recommendation, is to go ahead and get this filed at the courthouse. Start that process. It don't mean we're gonna do it, but start that process, and maybe that'll get her attention when she realizes we got stuff filed at Katy Parish Courthouse.
Yeah, that does,
On this.
that's a good start. That
Which
doesn't,
would y'all,
that doesn't really put it in motion. All it does is follows the protocol of the law,
right,
which says if you're gonna do this down the road, you need to do this first. That's all it does.
okay, so I'm
Absolutely necessary,
I'm recommending
legally necessary to do.
maybe get Brad to file this at the courthouse, Brad, you know, the legal on how to do it. And that's gonna be the first step, maybe we can send her a letter some kind of way notifying her that it's filed at the courthouse, and it's the first step toward tearing the building down.
Yeah, yeah,
So, okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Moving on to, my next one is,
Oh, right, right, right.
Doesn't mean it's
146 Main, and, that's Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is here. Him and I had a few conversations, and if everybody had Mr. Rogers' attitude on Main Street, we could try to get this back to where it looked in the 50s and 60s. And, Mr. Rogers was contacted, help me out with the names, the guy to elevate the building. First thing, he got in there and he cleaned it up. He took out all the junk, all the trash, got into the floor system to really see how much damage is in the building. He personally would love to save it because it has some good history behind the building. And the stuff that's wrong with it, once you elevate it, get it where it don't hold water underneath it, it can be saved. But it's at the time that it has to be done so it doesn't continue deteriorating and rotting down. I think he's the type of citizen that wants to do right, that we need to work with, because he has some great ideas. And Mr. Rogers, I would like to hear, or let the council hear, you know, maybe 2 minutes of what your ideas is, not the whole song.
Yeah. Well, I bought these buildings a few years ago. Well, the building that he's talking about, I bought from Mr. Smith, which in our contract that we did, I paid so much a month for the building, whatever, until the building was paid for. In that contract, it stated that I couldn't do anything to the building, you know, tear it down or whatever. I bought it mainly for the property, and the building was used for storage. There was never a business or nothing in the building. But the building is, you know, I mean, except for the roof needs to be changed, but the building is structurally sound. I mean, I stored the bottoms and everything off of the building and everything, and along with a lot of other buildings that he was talking about in town, if people would just take time, I want to see the town a bunch of empty lots. I didn't buy buildings in Church Point, you know, just to see an empty town, and that didn't generate any kind of money to the city or the individual. But if they take each individual dwelling and let's get it fixed, you know, you know, I mean, there's legal issues, and I'm all for fixing. I just got the letter, so I didn't know anything about it until I got the letter. I got it in my pocket. Now I'm addressing the issue to get it, you know, corrected, whatever needs to be done. I mean, I'm right there on at the end of the Main Street or whatever. But they have other people which, if we form a committee like we did when I was living in Appaloosa, we formed a committee and we went in as volunteers. The school was involved, the church was involved, Father Jeff was involved. I mean, we all got as a community and we helped each other. A food map. It was called back when they first built the town of Church Point. The town of Church Point was built by food map. People helping each other build individual houses. But if you want to start tearing down individual dwellings, I mean, some of them probably need to be torn down. But, you know, I have never seen, you know, I mean, I know he comes in and he condemns the building, but a structural engineer has to come in and tell me that old building is not worth saving. I mean, my building, it goes back, and I found a lot of history about the building, which I didn't know before all of this has happened. You know, one of the oldest doctors was in my old building. You know,
upstairs.
I didn't know that at the time, but I'm finding out, and I'm all for, you know, I'm in the Knights of Columbus and everything, and, you know, we do a lot of,
This
you know,
building
charitable
upstairs?
stuff, but,
Oh, yeah, she got the Meadows First Office for us.
Is it historic?
you know, we need to address the issue.
No, not that one, that's the other.
Each
Quidditch,
individual
Quidditch one.
dwelling
This one.
is under the
This right here.
historical
But this is
And it's-
the-
preservation part of it.
Both of them.
Let's try to save, you know, Church Point, not tear it down.
Yeah, I used to go in, I used to go
Remember
in
now,
that
you should,
building,
I understand that, so.
fifty, when Lord had a grocery store.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
that's
no, I
good.
would- I didn't even know they were on there.
You know, but let's get in there and find out if it, just because the machine is in or a piece of wood is off the side, that don't mean the building is condemnable, you know? That's my point of view. I mean, I'm
So just a question, Mr. Rogers, how long of a time frame are we talking about?
Well,
Would
I mean,
you
each
consider-
individual building, I mean, this is not gonna happen overnight. I mean, I've been hearing this since I bought the equipment drugstore years ago, and it was, you know, it was, everybody saying that they're gonna do this and do that, but I ain't never seen nothing, you know, being done. You know, let's form a committee or, and a group of volunteers, I mean, we can involve, you know, some, I mean, and I believe we did some of the trustees and whatever else, you know.
Asking how long to fix it.
Right, I'm
How long
just
do you
curious
need-
as you're
how
gonna
long do
see
you need
some
to
of these,
fix it, Mr. Robin?
right.
How much time you need to fix your building?
My building?
The ones that you're working on roughly?
Oh, my building ain't gonna take long. That's why I'm volunteering my time.
Wait, they're right, that's what the council's asking,
Yeah,
how
we
much
just,
time?
about your building.
Well, I mean, I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna take. The roof is the main thing. I mean,
So 3 months?
yeah, I mean, that's efficient. I mean.
Yeah, well, what I jotted down, you know, while he was talking is pretty much, it's time he gets the bids to elevate, I don't know if you got a bid yet, did you get your bid to redo the roof yet? You know, all that takes
Well,
all the little time, so I was, just jotted this down, see if he agrees with it. It was 60 days to give him, the owner, time to get things priced out, to see where he's at budget-wise, because, you know, what DeVilliers, whoever's gonna charge him to elevate the thing, I have an idea, but I don't have a clue in the sense that I want to throw out. Roof job, I have an idea what it's gonna cost. But I think that's his budget, his money, and he has to decide, once he gets this thing, he might realize, damn, this thing's gonna cost me $60,000, $100,000 to fix. I'm tearing it down. And that's,
The one is not the object of my building, it's the historical value of the building. That's why I bought the building in Church Point, for the historical value of it.
yeah, and that's fine, but I think the council's looking for a time span here.
Mr. Rogers, are you talking about the old Quibble's pharmacy building? Is that
Yeah.
the topic of this discussion, or is the building next to
Next to
pharmacy?
it, I mean, the drugstore is not, they have to.
Okay.
It's the building next
Just
to
a
it,
bit on the side,
Okay.
right.
which
Yeah.
I bought it out.
They might have the pictures of it, but.
Yes, we have the pictures.
Okay, I see it now, yeah.
But anyhow, I'm saying,
Paris, doctor's office. They got us treated with that now in branches, then
90 days,
Paris.
90 days?
90 days, y'all agree?
Better known as Lloyd Smith's old store.
Yeah, niggas.
All right, okay. So I'm gonna write 90
Nobody's old
days,
enough to
I'll
think about
talk to
that.
you, I'll communicate with you.
I don't remember
So in
that.
90 days, I can address the council where we're at.
We already started on the building already.
Yeah, I see that, and I appreciate that. My next one to go through here is 123 Vista. Now, this one here, if I remember my picture right, we wrote them up, they tore the old house down, but 90% of the trash is still on the side of the road. That one, Brad, he needs to get him a ticket, whatever it takes, get him in here, get him in front of the court system, because I spoke to them personally, at least twice, and I don't know if they're here tonight, but they promised me they're gonna have it cleaned up. They promised me they're gonna have it cleaned up before the council meeting. It's still not done. So, Chief, I'm gonna get with you on that one to, light them up, get them in front of them bad. Because it's not even a dumpster of trash. There's no need of having it in the ditch and on the roadside. The next one, I almost took Chief's name by this thing. I don't know what I'll do after. 119 Canal Street. Are they here tonight? I know they got their
It's on
letter.
the side of
Rodney
It's
LaFleur.
on West Canal.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's
cinder
amazing.
block building that
Oh,
we got a
Regional
complaint
building?
on,
House, yeah.
that if you look at your
Yeah,
pictures,
they live in,
it's, I almost agree with the
After she
neighbors
moved
that I don't
out,
know how
they-
this
they
thing's
made
livable. I did not get inside of it, but it's an old block building.
Oh, that's, I'm sorry, that's a couple of streets over,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
this
I
way.
thought, but weren't they trying to sell it? There was a for sale sign one day, and then the for sale sign disappeared.
They made, I didn't see
Okay,
it.
I'm surprised that it's on.
Tried to sell it, then he
But
rented
this
did what?
thing is a,
Bought it,
you know, electrical
he
hazard
remodeled
nightmare
it,
when
and then
you
he
look
tried
at all
to
the
sell it. He
panel
couldn't sell it,
box
so he
and
rented
the
it.
way they ran all the room
And then now it looks
on
like
the
they're remodeling
building.
it.
Right.
The sewer, if you
Everything
see how they
is
did the
exposed.
sewer, I don't see how it's possibly working. Bound to be getting serious sewer odor around that building because of the open pipes and stuff like that. So this is another one. Todd, he did sign for his receipt, didn't he?
But he's not here.
Yeah, and he's not here tonight. So we're gonna try to serve him the second time and see if we can get his intentions or what he's doing. You know him, Brad? He's shaking your head like you may know him.
No, no, not at all. I knew the lady who lived there that worked for Dr. Bellard, Miss Eugenie, but she would be 150
Is
right
someone
now. It's not
living
her.
Is it behind, is behind our building? We have Dr. G's on the corner. It's on the opposite side of the street.
yeah.
It's like on the corner of, Macmillan.
Yeah, there were some.
This is owned by the people that have pigs in their backyard.
There you go, dude.
Man, I love it.
There you go, dude. And then back, so they're behind, just back by some house.
They live in, Uncle Lou's old house, my Uncle Lou's old house.
Okay, there you go.
Old Lou Wembley's old house.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, the next one would be 156 North Corporation. That would be Mr. Doucette. I'm not sure if he's in here. But if you look at your picture, we've tried to serve him once already.
This is the second time.
Yeah, this is the second time we've served him. If you look at the condition and I would say this would be another one the chief needs to serve and try to get him in front of the magistrate. See about finding him. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what it is.
The right hand side when you turn on the corporation. No.
346 North Barus. Is she here today? Because I spoke to her on the phone.
Sean.
This house, if you remember right, she may have been here the first night we brought her in front of the council, and she was trying to sell the house. And we gave her opportunity to try to sell it, and as of today, nothing has been done to the house. And I passed by there, the for sale sign is still up in the yard, but again, no action. And she spoke to me, and basically she said she'd been sick, she had cancer, this, that is the story that she was telling me. So, it sounded like she has some medical needs. She has medical problems, but it doesn't answer our problem.
Mr. Cooney, what people need to understand is that the town of Churchmont will tear it down at no expense to them until they sell it. Then the lien kicks in and we have to get paid. So there is an option for people. There is.
Yeah.
Either you do it or we do it. That's it.
And once it's sold, we get paid back.
That's right. You get, that's right.
So,
And believe me,
Brad,
we're gonna
what
get.
you're telling me with this one, this is another one that we need to send her a, what you wanna call it, a junction, or whatever you're gonna call it, that we're gonna proceed to get this house torn down?
I would send her, I don't know what your letter say, Mr. Cooney, but it should say something about they should appear before the council.
Which I asked her
If
to,
they
but she
don't-
said she was sick.
Well, be that as it may, they still have a duty to let us know what's going on. If they don't, then we can do what our ordinance says. So you may want to see one more, and that's it.
We can resend her one and tell her that we're gonna proceed with, possible demolition of the house.
So resend a letter.
I don't know, of course, the town can do that, that excavator?
But we have to follow the lien first.
No, I know that, but,
Yes, we can.
I mean,
I,
contractors are gonna be expensive to do it.
We just have
I'm
to
always
set the
spreading the
price.
wealth around, but if the town can do it, at least excavator, haul the trash off to our place right by the old barn, it's a lot cheaper.
No, we'd have to send it off to the parish. We just have to set the price. The council would have to give us either authority or we'd have to set the price here.
There's a couple areas that I work into, the town does tear it down, but somehow or another, the attorney gets us the right to do it.
Okay.
Right?
I don't blame the town, it's very smart.
That's why I'm throwing the monkey under.
Yeah, that's fine.
The range it up.
So,
Yeah.
what I need to say right here is.
Okay, what we're gonna do is proceed with condemnation of
Okay.
the house.
I don't see any chance of it, I don't see anything else happening but that.
And Brad, I can, or you can give him the state statutes that allows us to do that.
Oh, yeah, I know, I'm very familiar with it.
Okay, good. So Brad can give you the proper language, Todd, to put in that letter. That quotes the proper statute that gives us the right to do that. Right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Brad.
Mr. Richard, one quick question. I submitted one on 238, I think it's 238, is near Keller Street. 238,
Minix?
yes,
Alley?
yes.
Somehow or another, I went by there today because I got a copy of your concerns.
Okay.
And I don't know how that one slipped through the loops, but they did not get a certified letter, but they will be getting.
Good deal. Thank you. Do you think, sir, that since, because it's been over, it's almost 2 years now. Yeah. Can we kind of expedite that particular one and get them in here like ASAP? Because that house is being used as a dope house, hoarders, you name it.
I can tell because.
Good deal. Thank you, sir.
Look at it and see, but
I
yes,
appreciate it.
I'll
Thank you.
this afternoon put pictures of it.
Thank you.
Also, I got a few other ones here I want to address that email. I'm assuming it came from you, I'm not sure who called it.
I'll forward it.
But, 121 Main, is that the motorcycle guy I want to call? Yeah. I've been talking to him, again, it's money. I need time to save up enough money. That's the one that they redid the front.
The
lobby.
Okay, the Ford, yeah.
That's the way they address it.
Okay.
You know, they kind of redid the front, got it looking decent, but yet the side that you can, I call the left-hand side, structurally the building is not as bad as it looks. You're talking about cypress and longleaf pine in a building. That thing has a gold mine worth of it in there. But a car backed into it from the inside. That's what made all that wall bow out. So it looks structurally bad, but it's not as bad as you may think it is. Of course, the windows are all gone, boarded up there. And I gave him the name of the salesperson and manager of Doug Ashley and Rain, which had some windows that would probably could replace there next to nothing, and probably give it to him. He was pursue that.
Mm-hmm.
So he is, act like he's working with us. So I just want to give you a little feedback on that. 502 POW, that's the lady with all the trucks, junk trucks. Miss Donna Guidry, right. That's another one that I think should be served a letter to go in front of the magistrate to push her off center to see what she's gonna do with that. I even went out of my way and got bids to tear the building down for her. That's one with all the old trucks parked in front, tires.
Across from the board, city board.
That's for the business?
That's Ronald's own hotspot.
I can give you her name, even her address and phone number. So I'm gonna put Chief. Okay. Okay, 317 Estella Drive, that was two old abandoned trailers. If you remember, that guy came in front of the council, Brad explained to him.
I remember him.
Yes, but
Very well.
One is gone, one is still there.
Oh, he really?
Yes.
He told me a lot in the plot of him. It's funny how he moved it.
I know, but yeah, one is cleaned up completely and gone, but there's still one there. But he did say he didn't legally own the property until in January, maybe he said. So I'm waiting until January to.
I doubt that seriously, Mr. Quinn. What he's probably saying is he bought it for a cash sale. He has a note on it. He thinks he doesn't own it until the note's paid off, which is not true.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it Mr. Happy?
Yeah. Yes.
248 North Barrows, that's the lady with all the junk cars. That's another one. That we've sent her several notices to remove the junk cars. I went by there this afternoon, they're still there. One or two of them is literally parked in what I call city right-of-way, city ditch. They need to go. Now, I'm gonna say this, because Jennings is real active with this. I work for Jennings. Where a police car go there, a police department go there, and they put a sticker on the window, 5 days, 6 days to remove it. If they don't remove it, they call a towing company. The towing company takes it to their yard, not city property. And then they have to get with the towing company to pay for the towing and storage and whatever else. Kind of leaves the city out of it. But we did our due diligence by giving them 5 days to do something with it. So I'm recommending that, Brad, if you think that's completely legal.
It is. No, it absolutely is. It is.
We definitely need to work with that.
It's all in here.
Yes, okay. Brad, did we ever get those stickers made? I know we talked about it.
They're ready to be ordered, it's just what's to put on it exactly. I talked to the lady today, and I talked to Chief. Chief recommends that it says the Church Point Police instead of code enforcement.
When you say ordinance, also, what is it,
It's ordinance number such and such.
Yeah.
it's
206,
code enforcement, it's not really code enforcement, it's just one city.
Right, yes, sir.
Excuse me, Mr. Quinn, that's Latita you talking about?
Which one?
That's Latita?
Yeah.
I'll get with her, that's my sister, I'll get with her about the cost of moving.
That's on 248, Byron?
Yeah, they got, that's too far, they got a call, what call you talking about, which one?
Well, there's 2 or 3. Actually, there's probably 4 or 5.
Right, because.
But you got 2 or 3.
We covered up one of them, and one of them is in the, I don't know which one is visible,
They're all visible.
They're all visible.
Covering up ain't gonna help the situation.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's visible, we're gonna get rid of the one that's visible, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, you got
They're
at
all
least
over the
2 of
yard.
them that's literally on the right of way.
Visible, covering it up is not gonna solve the problem.
If you cover your vehicle, it was legal. I think that's what he's coming at.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He said if it was covered up, it was.
No, Mel. Incorrect. That's like putting lipstick on a pig. It's still there. It's not gonna help the problem.
You wanted to remove the car with?
You gotta take it out. You gotta take it out, Mel.
All right. Well, I'm gonna tell her to take it out.
Most of them, the ordinance, I think, says that vehicle has to be operable, which means
That's right.
license,
That's correct.
safety sticker.
Or you can put a cover if it's running and you have a license.
Oh yeah, but junk
You can do what?
Yeah,
Put a
I
what?
think that's
A car cover,
Yeah,
if you want your car to
yeah.
get rained on, but that's not for a junk
Right.
vehicle.
That was close to your house, Albert.
I'll get rid of them. Don't worry. I'll get rid of them.
I'm gonna sign Dale to that case.
I'll get rid of them. Don't worry about it.
May as well take care of that.
good, thank you, I appreciate that help. 616 Hicks, we have ownership issues with that one, where Todd's been working with the Acadia Parish, whoever, to try to get that ownership and stuff straight on that one, because the person we serve
The trailer?
does not
Yeah, we
have
have
ownership, he's telling us
Issue
it's wrong
with that.
property.
We sent it to the
Uh,
property owner.
402 South Voorhees, they complied, they mowed their grass and stuff, so. That kinda sums it up of what we've been doing now for, what, a year? Maybe. But anyhow,
Well, and plus we have some that are completed too.
sir.
We did complete some.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
and I started to print out the ones that were completed, cause, I have in my computer, you know, a lot of them done, but I didn't bring that list with me, so. And some of them were done just by word of mouth, literally, you know. We have a camper that got removed, just because he heard about the meeting at the last council meeting, you know, the trailer house issue. I mean, the camper issue, if you remember what we're discussing, that, he just went ahead and did it before we wrote it up. So that's what we want to happen, is people to
Comply.
clean up their own stuff before it gets to this point as well.
Thank you, Coon.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Just
Coleman.
real quick, I have a question. I just purchased, 130 South Main and 113 South McMillan. Is there any issues with any of that?
Well, put it this way, it ain't on my list. So.
Not on your list, but it was good.
I don't want to say that.
I'm just curious. Earlier, I didn't remember the address.
Which one's is it?
It's a two-story white building, across from, like, the old Blockbuster, I think it was, movie gallery or something.
Yeah, that's right there.
That's across from
Wasn't that one of the ones we just discussed?
No,
That's
no.
not the
It
building that
has to
Mr. That's not
Yeah.
Mr.
What's
Rogers?
the question, Matt?
Well, no, question, I wasn't paying attention to the addresses earlier, I just wanted to make
It's
sure.
not your building. It's not your building.
This house right here.
Your building's not being condemned.
No,
No,
I was
that's
asking,
not-
because you were saying the addresses earlier, I was like, whoa, wait. I don't know the address, I don't know about the address yet. I just purchased it.
Yeah,
I just
he
want to make sure
he
it
was trying to be.
wasn't like on that
He
list.
spoke with us outside. He wanted to come and be proactive
I wanna make
because he
sure
just
it's not on
purchased
that
the building.
list.
That's why
Well,
he
I
was.
just bought it, I
Yeah.
don't know nothing about letters.
Come in tomorrow.
He said that he came in and he,
I
nobody
got a
could.
call back on it, so I figured it was good to go, in which apparently it is, because it's not on that list.
Yet.
Yeah.
Come in tomorrow. You got it. Todd had my phone.
Come in tomorrow. So just a quick question, Brad, I'm sorry.
No, that's no problem, Matt.
I'm sorry, guys. I was walking on.
No problem.
I don't know if y'all have any other questions for me.
Any more questions? Thank you, Mr. Cooney. Okay, our next item is resolution and introduction of ordinances, the yearly approval of existing liquor licenses. Okay, I will read out the business requests. We're requesting recommendation by the chief of police for approval by the council for the yearly liquor licenses. And,
Mayor, could I say something, instead of going through, the only one problem you have is one on number 14 of loud music. There have been complaints even this weekend. That'd be the only one that,
okay, well,
you can take them all at one time, and, that one there.
I'd just like the public just to
Okay.
hear
No
the
problem.
list. These are the ones that are up for approval. Cajun Lube Cafe, Smoke and Go, Paris Point, Point d'Eglise, Piggly Wiggly, Piggly Wiggly Express, Rod's Thrifty Mart, Richmond's Incorporated, which is Sonny's, Club Classic, LLC, El Centinelli, Debbie's Lounge, Main Street Shell, Easy Quick Mart, Vandekar's Juke Joint, how you say this, Sin and Loop?
What is
Sin
that?
and Loud?
What is that?
That's a little grocery store.
Oh.
Right
Oh,
across
that's
the
the
bridge.
district, Joe.
That's in Jean.
The little store right across the bridge. It used to be Papillon's, it used to be...
No, no.
Cormier's.
It's the old Cormier's?
Cormier's on grocery store.
Yeah.
That's the name. Okay, I didn't know that was the name.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was either.
I didn't know that.
I'm Acadian Food Express.
Okay, Swinging Doors and Acadian Food Express.
That's you.
That's the 17. And,
That's the Georgia.
Yeah, go Buggy Town.
Oh, okay.
Gene, I don't know the name of the store, that's the only.
I'm embarrassed.
I don't know the name of the store.
There's no sign.
Oh, that isn't the official name.
That's not the official, that's the owner.
Those are the, okay, well, I'm not
official
so
name
embarrassed
is Main
anymore.
Street
Okay, those are the owners,
Francisco.
okay.
It's Main Street.
I should be able to tell you. I
Yeah,
should be
because
able to
you
tell
guys probably deliver.
You know, I'm big into permits and stuff. In fact, Piggly Wiggly Express Pay #6, that should be shortstop #1. I do know that. We should list them as
I know, but that's
tobacco
not-
permit.
When they, the way the program splits it out, that's how it's split.
Oh, I understand, I understand.
So Piggly Wiggly Express is.
There is no Piggly
There is no
Express.
Piggly, okay.
It's shortstop #1.
Okay,
So,
okay.
this other one, this Sin and Lua,
That's the only.
they're owners.
But do you know the?
Main Street Francisco.
Main Street Francisco.
Francisco.
That really is.
That's how it's listed.
Yes, sir, that is the official name whenever the alarm company calls.
Yes.
That is their name.
That's it.
I knew it as Cormier's Grocery when I was growing up.
That's
what
that's
it
all I
was.
knew.
That's
of
what
that.
it was when I was coming out. It was Cormier's Grocery.
What about Hotspot?
Okay, what is that name?
Okay.
Easy to get that one.
And you said,
Main Street Francisco.
So that would be what,
Yes.
Gary?
What?
Shortstop #1, is that like
Oh, that's the Piggly Wiggly Express.
Chevron? Yeah.
The Chevron.
Right.
Next day, I go to the shop.
Yeah.
I have a quick question, Mayor. There's actually a place of business in my district that is not listed. However, I'm only asking because I don't know should they have come in and request or reapply?
Which one is that, Gene?
What is
Hotspot.
Hotspot? Hotspot? It's a nightclub.
Which one's the hotspot?
It's
Right next to Ben Butler's.
They sell alcohol?
is that
Yeah.
Club Classic?
No, not Club Classic. Is that Club Classic?
Old Carriers Club.
That's not Main
Old Carriers Club.
Old Carriers Club.
That's the one.
No, that's Club Classic. That's Club Classic,
That's on
LLC.
there.
Yeah, that's Club Classic.
So we're good.
How do y'all come
Where's
up?
the hotspot?
That-
That's what it
that
was
is the
called?
hotspot.
That's what they call it.
It's legally Club Classic LLC, better known as
The hotspot.
Could be doing business as Hotspot. I don't know. I don't know who likes how they put it in.
Y'all got me all.
Okay,
George made a motion.
Yeah.
But remember Bannerport. What do we
And
do?
then
Okay,
there's
we have,
Oasis, then there's Briscoe,
Okay, we have a
and then
motion.
there's Mr. Vernon, and then there's a board right there.
I
Joy
move.
made the-
Oh, it's
Joy
not
just-
open?
Joy made the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Look, I went there from Mardi Gras, just,
Now we have
it was
open for
probably about
Now we have
5 years
open
ago,
for
but
discussion?
everything seems like yesterday to me.
The chief,
Yeah, the only place that I have complaints on would be, number 14, Vanderpool's, place with loud music. In fact, Ron's here. He can pretty much explain up to this weekend. We've had some complaints on.
And Mr. Carrier was about to speak. I was going to also chime in with what the chief said, and I do know also that there's been some issues as it relates to the sound, the noise, etc. in that area. Because I also have spoken. Mr. Carrier is one of my constituents, and he and I have been sort of working together on that issue for a while now. So, yeah. I don't know. Is he? Did you want? No. I was gonna ask if you wanted Mr. Carrier to address. Mr. Carrier, did you want to address, sir?
There's a problem that when he's not, to start off with, he's not zoned for live music. He's in a residential area.
That's actually not true. Go ahead.
It's not true. I'll have the
No.
paperwork, but then Todd's the one that told me that.
Not true.
Okay, what is not true about it?
It's actually in a zone. There was a service station there for years. Then it turned into Joe's Bar. Then Vandercourt's bought Joe's. Debbie's, Joe's, it was there. It was a bar. and then Vanderbilt to go, it was a bar. Any questions?
No question.
Okay.
All right, what about what to do with the zoning? Why is it on paper that he's in a residential area?
But he's zone commercial, right? All the other ones was zone commercial. He's in a
Yeah,
residential
but
area.
he's a new business.
But it's a continuation of the previous businesses,
How can that be?
where I just
A
explained.
continuation. You know
From
why I
the
say
previous
that?
businesses.
Because the fire marshal, ABC, everybody came down. When he took over that place, he had to have handicap, everything from A to Z, because it was a new business. Right or wrong?
Mr. Short's right here.
All right. The only problem is the live banging there in the residential area. We can't sleep at night. I confronted him. I said, Shane, when you go to bed, you want to sleep, right? Yeah. So do we. It don't happen.
Well, you call the cops? The cops have been called over there?
Yeah. Can
Well, I mean, the law applies to everyone, Mr.
No, that's a
Ron.
good question.
There is a voice, there is a meter that our police officers use. They point it at the building. It gives them a reading back, okay?
No.
Yes, yes. Well, then you're questioning the integrity of a police department then. You're questioning the truthfulness of a police officer. That's what they're doing. If that's not helping you, then we need to change our ordinance to go down on the volume that's allowed in the town according to the noise meter, not according to the chief or Dale's subjective belief of what's loud music. That's why we changed that from a police officer's determination to a meter's determination, which is electronic, where there's no argument, there's no discrepancy. I can convict them on it if they're above the meter reading that says it's loud music. This is a topic we've gone over hundreds of times in here, and you still don't want to understand it, Mr. Ron, and I don't understand it. You know that a meter does not lie.
How does it work?
I have no idea. I'm not in charge of her work. I have no idea how it works. I'm not the man in charge of it.
Some of the police didn't even know they had a meter. And some of them didn't know how to read the meter.
Well, you know what? That is not a problem that I have to deal with.
Well, no, but I mean...
Okay, who wrote the ordinance on the meter?
I did.
Okay, what does it say?
Well, it's about 80 pages long. I can't read it to you verbatim.
No, it's not, Ralph.
It's 15 pages long, Mr. Ron. It says if the certain it's very clear. After 10 o'clock at night, if it's over, I don't know, maybe 65 decibels, then you write them up, give them a ticket. Shane's got to come before me. Next night, over that, write him up, Shane comes before me. Then you have concrete evidence by way of a citation that you can come back to this council. He's gotten, how many tickets has he been written up for?
Wait a minute.
No, those are the questions you have to answer because I can give you the proper answer, Mr. Ron.
Right. What's the question?
He's gotten 0 for loud music.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I hear the arguments. I don't write the tickets.
You want me to tell you why?
That's your opinion. You can tell me why you think they don't. I don't know.
The way the ordinance was written, and I've talked to this about you. And you answered me.
That ordinance comes.
You answered me.
That ordinance comes from Youngsville, Louisiana, which is the most stringent, viable, and enforceable ordinances on the books. And Mr. Cooney is here to verify that.
Where does it come from?
That ordinance is crystal clear. Bits and pieces were taken from many, many different towns. Let me leave it at that.
Right.
It doesn't matter where I got it from. I know what I'm doing. It's my job to write it, and it's correct. I can promise you that.
All right. You know what the meter? You know what that thing says about the meter?
No.
The 60. Well, you wrote it.
I don't know what it says. I don't know what I wrote today.
Decibel. It says 60 decibels.
Okay.
Let's say Gene calls.
That's not a subjective. That's not a subjective
The
number.
police are gonna go to his house, and if it's not 60 decibels, then Shane is legal.
Duh.
Okay.
You think it's improper?
Okay.
If
No,
I'm going
wait,
45 in a
let me
50
finish.
mile an hour zone, am I illegal?
Let me finish.
That's not hard to comprehend.
It's not going to be 60 decibels at his house. The source is coming from over there. Does it pertain to him also, or just to him?
That question made absolutely no sense to me at all. I'm just being honest with you. I didn't understand what you said. Can you repeat that?
Does the law pertain to this guy that's calling the complaint, or does it pertain to the one that the noise is coming from also?
I still don't understand your question. I'll only answer it by saying this. If I complain loud music come from my bedroom window, where my ear is 5 feet from my window, and it's coming from a bar right over there that I call the cops on, I'm gonna measure the level of noise from your bedroom window straight at that where the noise is coming from. That's how you determine whether it's disturbing the peace on a loud noise level. It's the only way to do it.
Yeah,
it's the only way to do it. You don't sleep on the property line, do you?
You're not gonna get a 65 reading decibels from the point of where it's coming from. That won't happen. But yet the bass sound is gone. Boom. You never get
these things.
Now,
these decibel meters are extremely accurate. From bass to whatever you can buy for $40 and put in somebody's stock and tell them to play with it, a kid, or you can get the ones we have, which are extremely expensive and are very, very stringent on what they're picking up in noise-wise. And they're calibrated. I know that. Dale went to a course on that.
I know that. He gave me a lesson.
Where is the noise measured from?
It's measured from where the noise is, where you're being disturbed. If I have property that extends all the way in front of the bar, you don't sleep on your property line in front of the bar. You sleep in your bedroom. Why would we measure the sound from there?
Can I say something? May I? I recall when that issue was initially brought before the council, okay? And it wasn't an easy issue for us to debate. It wasn't. In fact, one of the final things we said was that, okay, this is the decision. Now, we hope that the parties can walk away and get along together amicably in the community. Mm-hmm. Mr. Ronald is one of my constituents. And I say that because when the issue occurs with the loud music, I've been with him. What was it, 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock one night? He and I going back and forth. 10, 11 o'clock at night, right? And I'm saying, and I could feel the frustration he was experiencing. And so I contacted the police department and I said, can you guys go out there? And Mr. Ronald and I on the phone. And I said, Mr. Ronald, can you go near the door so I can actually hear, so I can attest to maybe what you're hearing, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Gene, come and listen. The pictures on the wall are literally falling. My biggest concern is that we're talking about citizens who have been living in their residential communities for years and years, and many of them are elderly. They have a right to at least just get some rest at night. And again, the last thing we said was, okay, let's move forward in hopes that the two parties can work together. Guess what? It hasn't worked. So what we promised both parties is that if it doesn't work, come back before the council.
That's exactly right.
And we're going to work it out.
Right.
Well, that's what he's doing now.
And
that's what you're bringing up. Thank you, Chief. So we may need to adjust the ordinance or whatever.
The decibel meter reading is what you need to adjust.
Okay.
And that's what I said from day one, sitting right here.
Absolutely.
I said, if that's not satisfactory to people who are around there, come back. But don't tell me my ordinance is not good. That's a bunch of crap.
Right, and I understand that. So can we do this, Mr. Ronald? Can we do this? Can we at least agree to bring it back before the council?
And amend it, sure.
ASAP. And then hopefully we can come up with something that will allow them to work better together.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
When the ordinance was passed, I think the remark was made that it would have been the sound of a vacuum cleaner running.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
That was my remark.
Yeah.
But that's totally out of context the way you're putting it, Chief. Okay. What I said was, it's not as though a vacuum is in your ear, okay? The example I gave was taken out of a text of legal things to determine noise, and it was a perimeter, not in your ear, because I can't sleep with a vacuum in my ear. So let me put it in the right context. It's incorrect. Go ahead.
Can I make a suggestion? I spoke to Mr. Ronald today, and I told him, it's mainly when there's a band playing.
Correct.
And I told him if he would like, he could call me, and I'll get out of my bed and go take readings at several different places, which will give us a basis to see, what maybe needs to be adjusted or what can be adjusted.
Can you do that and provide the council with that data by the January meeting, and so we can use that to base?
We'll have the decibel readings from maybe by his house, maybe down about a property, you know, different decimal readings where we can go off of, and the council can get a fair, accurate estimate of what the noise is and adjust the decimal readings. Maybe y'all gonna have to go a little lower, I don't know.
Do we need to subpoena Vanacore to come, or do we need to send a request? Okay.
He said he would've came tonight.
He would come. Oh, okay. So he's like he was before. He's willing to come work. Yeah, absolutely. Good deal. Good deal.
This is my question. If it's 65,
It's 70.
70 is that
Dale
what it is?
Dale said 70.
7, okay, I don't remember
if
what it
it's
was.
65 for me, shouldn't it be 65 for everybody in here?
It is.
The
It is.
decimal reading is a
Okay.
decimal reading.
The law,
Okay.
the law applies to everyone equally.
All right?
What Mr. Ronald's saying, I think I understand what he's saying, because we talked about it today. What he's saying, when he calls in a complaint that's 65, okay? This house that's right next to Vanacore's, shouldn't it be less than 65 at their house too? Am I right? I think that's what he's explaining.
If they complain about it, sure.
Yeah, right.
Brad,
If
we
they
have-
complain, sure.
Brad, if you, ma'am, where did I'm sorry, and if you prefer that I don't sort of pull you into this, I will not. Okay, never mind. No, that's okay. That's quite all right.
I live alone.
No. That's no. And my apologies for even suggesting that you would give us any feedback. My apologies for that. Can we sort of move forward with the understanding that we're going to come back in January? We're going to revisit the issue with Mr. Ronald, with information.
All I want to do is sleep.
Absolutely, trust me. Listen,
And I would want the
Mr.
same-
Ronald,
I would want the same
because
thing.
when you don't sleep, Mr. Ronald, I'm not sleeping. Okay, so we're in this together. Right.
The whole neighborhood.
I want everybody to sleep and everybody to be in peace in this town. I only write the laws and the peace uphold them, and that's all I can argue. You can argue my personal feelings. I want to sleep too, but I'm not here to argue that. My sleep habits don't matter.
I got a question. All right. We're approving or disapproving all the liquor license, beer license. I'm asking the chief, what are you recommending, chief?
Well, legally, we can't deny it because of the fact that people that
Exactly.
charges of anything.
Legally, you can't deny. Okay. Now,
I didn't say that, Mr. Ron. The chief said it.
There's no order.
He said it's legal. It's not legal to deny it. So I didn't say a word. Get that straight right
The only way
now.
I can deny the liquor license is he has to be charged by ABC board.
How many tickets did he get? How many? 0?
Yeah.
According to the law.
Right.
State of Louisiana and the town, right? None? Not
So,
one.
so
Thank you.
I'm telling you, if you deny this guy, you're in trouble. We're in trouble.
No question about it.
No. And you know what? I don't think. I mean, we're a small community, and the business community should be able to thrive in our community, as well as residential community should be able to live peacefully. How we make the two happen is what our job is. So
What's going to happen, you're going to give him a license,
Gene's
and then he's
idea is how
going to
you
show
do
you all
it.
that he can play it louder.
I understand.
Can we buy
I totally
it?
understand. I would argue the point too. I'm just
So do
asking
I.
why.
can't legally deny it.
What was his recommendation?
Not
He's the
legally.
chief.
I agree. But the premise you're basing your argument on, with all due respect and deference to you, Mr. Ron, is not proper under the circumstances. The only thing you can do is come in and say, can y'all lower the decibel level, please? And to put it back in the ordinance, get the cops back over there, and enforce the law. And you know, next year, if he has 10 tickets, he probably won't get a license.
Or it'll be determined.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, the fines just keeps adding up, and it gets to be a nightmare for the bar owner. He either straightens up or he's out of business.
Mr. Ron? This is a lot. Let's see what happens next month. I appreciate that.
All the neighborhood wants to do is sleep.
Absolutely. And we're gonna.
Don't tell me, John, this ain't ridiculous. What does he say?
No, yeah, well, I heard what you heard when he was over here. Nobody's called me. Nobody's told me anything.
I told Stu earlier when
You're the
he was
neighborhood
talking
judge, you're the
about
business.
people are scared.
No.
They're scared. They don't want to sleep down there.
So
I hear
Take a
more
chance.
from my house. I can hear the football games, but I don't hear that. I think it's how the wind, how, you know, whatever.
No, Mr. Ron can't sleep. I mean, it needs to be changed.
Not just him, Brad.
One citizen's complaint to the council should be news enough for you to do
Absolutely.
something about it,
Absolutely.
but not be prejudicial to an owner of a
Absolutely.
business.
Absolutely.
As simple as that.
Absolutely.
Good
And that's
for the
what we're
goose,
doing.
good for the gander.
What about him actually having some level of soundproof? I mean, I work with
Who's him?
I work,
Mr. Ronald or
no,
the
actual
business
bar
owner? Okay.
yeah. What about him soundproofing where the actual band is actually
Oh, that would be
playing?
great.
Because
And
I
he
mean, I
has-
work with sound. I mean, I work
That
with
would be
sound.
great, y'all.
But,
That'd be great.
I think at this point,
if he puts a certain
Mayor-
soundproof, you won't be able to hear it at all.
I agree.
But
At all.
here's what I'm asking: can we
They
move
do
on
that
and
in
vote? Because I
clubs
think
and that.
we're suggesting some things, and the business owner, he's not here to defend or to respond to that, and it's only fair that he should also be here to respond. So let's just go ahead and vote on
Okay,
this.
do I have a motion in a
No,
second?
you have
You
I
have
do a
both.
motion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
motion and
Yeah.
second.
Just
Okay, let's vote then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries. Okay. Let's move on.
One more time.
Okay.
That's a good one. I like that. Christmas tree? Love Christmas.
All right, announcements. First of all, Christmas parade will be December the 10th at 2 p.m. Anyone who's interested may still sign up for the parade. Call City Hall.
Is there a charge for it?
No, there's no charge. It's free. And come Fallon Christmas parade Sunday, 2 o'clock.
Line up at 1.
Line up at 1.
Even
for the school. Okay, the second thing I have is most of you have heard of POW body being returned. Mr. Kermit Joseph Lejeune. The body will arrive in Church Point Monday, December the 11th at 3 p.m. Okay, December the 13th. Of course, there'll be have an escort, and there'll be people along the road and so forth. We're going to have a route through town, and then of course they'll take him to Duhon Funeral Home. They will skip a day, which is the 12th. Go to the 13th. Will be his funeral services. Well, I said the viewing of the body, visitation, at 12 p.m. It will start during the day and go till 10 at night. Okay. At 6:45 that day, during the visitation, they will have awards. They will present awards, medals, and things of that nature. And the rosary will follow basically around 7 o'clock. That's on Wednesday.
This will be at the funeral home, Mayor?
Duhon Funeral Home.
Or the funeral home.
Okay, December the 14th, which is the Thursday, the actual funeral home opens up at 8 a.m. They will leave at 9:30 to go to Richard. They will have a 10:30 awards ceremony at Richard, and of course at 11 o'clock will be the funeral mass. I know that's kind of, we'll try to put something up in City Hall and that you can see. Does anyone have questions on that? I know I went through it quick.
dates.
That's the 11th, skip the 12th, then the 13th and 14th.
Mayor, I spoke to Miss Yankee this afternoon. She called me back and that Rob we spoke about. Maybe you could explain if people want to be alone. We coming in, we're on Roberts in front of
Estelet
Street, make the round to Broadway, go up to Robert, take a right, and take a left on Main Street, go up to take another right, go in front of OMP, go to Abbott, take another right, and then go back to Robert and back to the funeral home. This with the school, that I think the reason they wanted to do that, I hate to tell you the place, but
that's good.
The reason they want to do that, the OMP, they can have the kids out with it. And also, if you want to get with the high school, then I can get with the
that'll be on the 11th, right?
Right, that morning, we should be back, what, 3 o'clock?
By 3 o'clock.
Now,
in the paper then, because I talked to them in the morning, they were gonna come down 95.
Yeah.
So it changed after that?
Well, straight coming 95.
and then turn, she said, when I talked to Burl, and said, turn at Sonic, page 13 in this Broadway.
They erased that.
And it's gonna be in print.
Well, they mentioned that it would have been too late to change, so we'd almost have to go word of mouth, explain. But the reason for it, they have some veterans that's at the nursing home, and what you're gonna do, you're gonna roll them out. So when you're gonna turn by,
I'm sorry, the 13th.
South Rock, you come back around.
They won't let any people you back in with a veteran, World War II veteran.
It's just a bad time for me for a late change.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, no, I wouldn't.
Dale and I probably going, if everything goes good, then we're gonna pick them up at the Air Force if we have room, if somebody wants to come.
Yeah, we should have.
Yeah, one of y'all wants to ride with it.
So when I escort, pick it up and escort it back.
I'll ride with Brad.
I'll ride with Dale.
Oh, Brad's going?
If you're not going.
Anyone have questions? I know we went through this quick, but just December the 11th, which is Monday, that's when the body's going to return. Off day the 12th. The Tuesday, nothing happened. The Wednesday the 13th, visitation at the funeral home. 14th, funeral. Henry Shaw. Okay? To make it simplified a little bit, in case whoever wants to go and so forth. And during that time, they're going to present awards and things of that nature. Okay? All right. We are presenting Christmas baskets. We're collecting food items for Christmas baskets. Rods, Piggly Wiggly, and City Hall is collecting. So if anyone would like to bring canned goods or some type of items, we dearly accept it. And of course, we'll give it out to people that are signing up. Our next meeting is scheduled for January the 1st. And January 1st is the New Year's, which we will not have our meeting. It's going to be on the 8th. So please mark your calendars. The 8th will be our next council meeting. Okay? And my last thing, I've invited, I'm sorry, second to last. I have invited the USDA area director for a USDA meeting on December the 19th, 2017 at City Hall to present to the public, for those interested, repairs to their homes or first-time buyers within our community who are of low to moderate income. USDA offers to eligible persons rural housing direct and repair loans as well as rural housing. Guaranteed loans and a 504 housing repair loan and grant program are all to be discussed at this meeting. So 5:30, December the 19th. 5:30, December the 19th for this. Okay? Any questions on this? We'll put it out. If you know someone who needs repairs or whatever and come from a low moderate family, a low to moderate family, please tell them to come by the meeting. They'll be in the chamber. Okay, also we have Sunday, the YEY program, Bearing Thanks, a community holiday celebration. It's a free event. Please give thanks to our community and celebrate with our community. Incredible foods, fantastic fellowship, amazing fun and entertainment. This will be held from 1 to 5. Do we have a time? Yeah. 1 to 5 at the Church Point Community Center. Everyone is welcome, and I think some of these gentlemen right here.
Yeah. And it does run in the middle of the parade, so at the end of the parade, if y'all want to stop by and come, yeah, everybody's welcome. It's a community event, so it's gonna be from 1 to 5. They're also looking for any volunteers, whether it's time helping or if you want to volunteer a bottle of water or whatever, you know. We're gonna maybe meet up around 9 that morning to start preparing for everything. It's gonna be like fun jumps for the kids, food, games. It was the Thanksgiving event from last year, but we pushed it back for a holiday event for this year. So it's free. Come out and enjoy some good food, some good fun. And if you want to come after the parade, that's definitely welcome too.
Okay. And if y'all want to come to the parade, y'all can come too.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna be walking the parade too to kind of hand out some cards as well.
Good deal. Okay, and I believe that's all I have. We're gonna start with Mr. Malbrough.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing else I want to say is, of course, thanking everyone for coming out. And as a member, on behalf of the Veterans Day Parade Committee, I want to publicly thank the police department for their involvement. We appreciate your leadership and your support of the parade. We want to also thank the fire department for all that you did for the veterans in our area. We really appreciate your support as well. And finally, I want to publicly and personally thank you, Mayor, and my fellow councilwoman, my fellow councilman Gary, Dale, and Errol, for each one of you putting in your time, taking out of your time, out of your day, just being out there to support our local vets. It meant a lot to them, and it meant a lot to me. So I thank you all.
You're welcome. It was an awesome event.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Joe?
Thank you all again for coming, and everybody have a safe, healthy, and happy holiday season. Christmas is in a couple of weeks.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming. And a Happy New Year.
Everyone have a blessed, happy New Year. Keep all your veterans in your prayers and all the people in need. Thank you.
And don't get to eat a lot of cabbage and black eyes.
And don't be concerned, all be safe.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Brad?
No.
Okay. All right. Public comments, Mr. Fontaine.
I really think it's amazing that you always give the ordinary private citizens the last word every month like this. But I too wanted to thank, it was so gratifying to see so many of the public out at Veterans Day, at the program, the parade, and have 100% attendance from our elected officials. Thank you so much for that. I also wanted to congratulate the city workers for the Christmas display lights at City Hall and on Main Street and at the depot, because I believe, as I hope many of you do, that these sort of intangibles, which cost money, improve the quality of life in our town. And I think every one of us, when we drive or come downtown at night and see the lights, it does lift our spirits at this time of year. And third, I want to assure you that the Acadia Parish Tourist Commission is publicizing on the website and so forth both our Christmas parade and the Butte Presbyterian Christmas program, which will be Saturday, December 16th at 5:30 p.m. and will involve caroling and other goodies. And we've invited all 4 schools in town to participate in some way with either poem or music, and have invited every church in town to participate. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody there. And I almost forgot that this Wednesday at 5:15, St. Nick arrives at Acadia St. Landry Hospital in 40-degree weather and 80% chance of rain. But hey, Christmas only comes once a year in December, right? So hopefully God will be good.
He'll be too sick to be at the parade on Sunday.
2 days.
Mr. Fontaine.
Hope to see you there.
Your nonprofit status will be finished in about a week.
Great, thank you so much.
Mr. Fontaine, I happen to be
at the gym, just kind of getting my workout on, and I saw this is a magazine that is printed monthly, and I grabbed it. It's called Natural Awakenings, and I just happened to just thumb through it, and I was pleasantly surprised, actually shocked, when right under news briefs, Laveau Presbyterian Museum hosts Church Point Open House, and a really nice article. So you're doing awesome for the museum. You're getting the word out. Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. Do I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
I do so move.
And I'll second. Third.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.